back to another episode of The Edupreneur. I am super excited that you all have come back to join me. If this is your first time watching, then that's amazing. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can stay abreast on any new episodes that I'm posting. I am gonna keep posting things about education with the Edupreneur, but I'm gonna do all things learning, all things education. So that includes everything from teaching to learning about any types of things that it is that I can teach you about, plus a few lifestyle things as well. Just stay tuned. I promise you will not be disappointed. But we're gonna jump straight into the episode on today. I know that I promised that I will be answering some of your questions that you have been sending me. So I've had a lot of questions to come in on Facebook, a few to come in on Instagram, and some that have been texted to me, a lot that were redundant, so that's great. I can definitely talk about some of those things, and then some that were not. So I get to answer some of those questions. And then I have a few things that I jotted down today that I definitely wanted to talk to you all about, and just to let you know a little bit more about some of the topics that we have been discussing with edupreneurship. So jumping right in, I'm going to start with talking about just the topic for today before I start answering questions. So the topic for today is to touch on when you're building your platform, when you are starting out in entrepreneurship, how you get started matters. So I can speak for myself. I know that when I first started, I was doing some things on my own. I was trying to reach out to find different people to do things, kind of cutting corners a little bit. And if I had to give someone else advice, I would say don't. Do not cut corners if you don't have to. Because cutting corners puts you in a situation where you will have to step back, rewind, and redo this again later, because it won't be the quality that you would want for your brand that's associated with your name or anything like that. So pay now or pay later. Now, does that mean that you have to spend $1 million on photos or a lot of money on equipment or anything like that? No, it does not mean that. It just means get something that is of quality. So for an example, I am a girl. I like my hair, and I like doing things with my hair. I like for my hair to look good at all times. So when I moved to Atlanta, I was looking for a hairstylist, and because I did not have a hairstylist here, I started watching someone that went to high school with me. Shout out to Ashley at Hair Rehab ATL. So I started watching her, perfecting her craft. I think it might have been on Twitter. I was watching her at first, and I saw that, she was going to school for hair. She was perfecting her craft, and there were different things that she was doing. And I was watching as she did certain people's hair, natural hairstyles, as well as relaxed hair, as well as extensions. And I think I watched her for about a year. And throughout that year, it was just, I was amazed at the work that she did. Now, before that, I was going back home to Mississippi. I was letting someone that I was friends with at the time do my hair when she came in town, until I was able to get the courage up to say, okay, she is literally at a point where I definitely want her doing my hair. So I started scheduling appointments with her, and she did an amazing job with my hair. She helped me transition completely to natural. When I wanted extensions, she did extensions and things of that nature. But what I'm saying is, she may not have been that celebrity stylist at the time that was charging $500 for a sew-in. She definitely wasn't that stylist that had the ATL prices that I call, where she was charging $1 million in order to just do a silk press on my hair. She had affordable prices, and it was quality. And so I knew what I would get every time I walked in and when I walked out. So what I'm saying to you is, look for affordable quality. Again, shout out to Ashley at Hair Rehab ATL, because, she was the one that was actually doing my hair at that time. So post that, Another thing that I would say is that quality is important to your brand. And so I did make mention about photos. I pretty much did the same thing with photos. I watched someone else's craft, and I actually found photographers that were up and coming. So I saw them, I was watching their Instagram pages, looking at some of the things that they did, and then I took a chance on them perfecting their craft at that time. And it worked out well for me. I got some amazing photos from the photographer in Mississippi, as well as a second photographer that I used for some graduation photos. But I took enough shots that I could also use them with my business and my professional side as well. And so picking a photographer that's up and coming and they're perfecting their craft, but they are still good at what they do, it can save you money, but you're not necessarily cutting corners because it's someone that's professional versus getting your friend to shoot your shot, or you trying to do it yourself. And I mean, you may be good at that. Even when it comes to editing and doing your videos and things like that, there are some things that you can do on your own, and there are some things that you may want to reach out to someone else to do. Another thing that I learned is you can sometimes look to some of your friends or people that you know to barter some services. All the time you may not be able to pay monetarily. However, you may have a service that you can offer someone else, and they have a service that they can offer you at a discounted price, or it could just be trading and bartering. So I had two people that I traded and bartered different things with. Brandon Graham at the Divine Agency ATL, as well as Shalonda Spencer and her business that she has in Mississippi, where she builds websites, she does logo designs and things of that nature. And so both of them were very instrumental in some of the things that I did. And with them being instrumental in some of the things that I did, and us bartering services, or them giving me like discounts on things that they did for me, it worked for me because I was able to get my logos. I was able to have them to help with the editing of some of my web pages and things. Now, granted, I was able to do my web page myself because I did have that skill set, but I did have to have help with my logos in order for them to look as professional as I wanted them to look. Even my retractable banner, someone else designed that and did that for me. However, it was at a rate that I could afford at the time, but it was quality material. When it came to my boxes, for the EduBox, then I was able to design those myself, but Shalonda Spencer actually designed that logo for me. And she was up and coming at the time, which means that she was able to take those designs that she did for me, place them on her website, put them out to say, hey, this is some of the work that I've done before. And in return, it boosted her client base. And that's definitely something that you should take into account when you're up and coming and you are starting out. So with that being said, again, cutting corners today means potentially spending more money tomorrow, or paying to have the exact same thing done over again, except done right. So do it right the first time, even if that means you have to save a little bit longer, even if that means that you got to spend a little bit more than what you particularly initially anticipated spending. Whatever that looks like for you. Again, you don't have to spend $1 million. You don't have to spend $100,000 on something. You can find quality in your backyard. It could be a student that's in school. It could be someone you know, just whatever it is. But also, don't downplay someone's craft just because, you know, you need something done. If you know that somebody charges $200 for it, don't go to them saying, I'll give you $50. If you don't have that kind of relationship with them, you know, maybe say, you know, I'm gonna need some more things in the future, so can we talk about it in this manner, and I promise that I'm gonna give you my business with all the rest of these things, or, you know, is there any kind of discount that you can give me, things like that when you're up and coming, if you have that type of relationship with those people. But other than that, you know, just try to find someone that is within your budget, and set a budget. Set a budget, because that actually matters. Then you're able to look at those different people that are doing the things that you need, and they have those services that they can offer you, and you'll know, I can afford your services, I can't afford your services. So that's something to definitely look at, to definitely think about as well. So I hope this information helped you all out a little bit on today with making the decisions to pay now or pay for that later. Now, I'm going to shift into the question and answer segment of today. Thank you all so much for sending in some of the questions. Thank you to my sorors. J15 is coming. Thank you to the different people that have been watching that have been sending in questions, because they help me to know what types of materials it is that you want to hear from me. So the first question is, how do you balance your career and start running a business at the same time? So I talked a little bit about this in one of my first videos that I did. When it comes to a balance and running a business, you have to find that balance for yourself. What I mean when I say that is, I started to learn that at a certain time I had to shut off my 9 to 5, and then I picked up on my side business. And the reason I'm saying that is because we often put so much time into running somebody else's dream, building their empire, that we put ours to the side and we never pick it up. So if I go to work at 9 o'clock and 5 o'clock is the end time, I would end at 5 o'clock. Sometimes it may be 6 or 7 o'clock, but I shut it down. And then I dedicate 4 to 5 hours to what it is that I'm doing. I'm going to be up anyway. If I'm going to be watching TV, I will turn the TV on while I'm also working on my business. I spend time on the weekends working on my business. If you're an educator, you're a teacher, oftentimes you like to bring work home. Get the work done at work as much as possible. When you come home, let that be your business time. On the weekends, let that be your business time. I'm currently not a mommy, so I don't have that responsibility of a child per se, where I have to make sure that they are well taken care of, or a husband that I have to make sure that they're well taken care of. But at the end of the day, if you know that your kids are elementary school, middle school, and they're in bed by 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, then that means you take that time from 7 to 9 or 8 to 10 to put into your business and the things that you want to do with your business and perfecting your craft or what it is that you're doing. So that sometimes means you may not be able to go out with your friends this weekend. It may mean that you may meet up with them at 6 and you may have dinner and drinks or whatever it is that you all are going to do from 6 to 8. But when they say we're going to go to the next spot at 8:30, then you say, I'm going to go home because I need to get this together. And you're still not missing out on anything. You're just cutting that time, and you're learning to make sure that you're balancing both of them. One thing that I did do, again, because when I first started building a business, I was an educator in the classroom. I spent my summertime building my business. I got up at the time that I would typically be getting up to go to work, and I worked a typical work day on my business ventures. When I wanted to go out to eat, I would go to eat, but I would take my computer with me. I would take my iPad with me. I would take a notebook with me. I would be consistently working no matter where I was. If I went to hang out at a friend's house, I would take my stuff with me. And I would sometimes say, hey, we want to do a working hangout today. Therefore, I could hang out with my friends. But at the same time, I was working on what it was that I needed to work on. So that's how I balance the two of them, because I knew I needed my 9 to 5, and I couldn't walk away from a 9 to 5 trying to just be an entrepreneur. I couldn't do it. I do know someone that has been successful with doing so, with building their clientele and being able to make their transition, but I haven't done it. I didn't do it. I actually like working my 9 to 5 right now, so it works for me. Next question is, as educators, we put so much time into our school positions, it's hard to find time to develop our passion. How do you begin the process of balance until you are secure enough to walk away and focus on growing your business? So what I'm going to say is this. If your end goal, thinking about backwards design, if your end goal is to begin with the end in mind, then what I will say is, if you want to have your own business and to just really be a full-time entrepreneur, it is my suggestion that you make sure that your business has grown to the point where there's almost guaranteed money that's coming in, revenue that's coming in from your business that is at least 2 to 3 times what you were making on your job. If you're not at least making your salary from your job, I wouldn't walk away just yet. But what I can say is beginning the process and the balancing, it still goes back to what I just said with the first question. You have to carve out that time and you have to be intentional about what it is that you're doing. It is hard sometimes. Sometimes you're tired. You feel like, things aren't working out for you. It's not going as far as you want it to go. What if you have a tangible product, it's not selling, or whatever the case is. You may feel different types of ways, and there are highs and lows in entrepreneurship. There are some times where, I'll be honest, I don't sell anything and I have a tangible product. And there are times where I have a surplus of sales that just come in like this and then I have to spring into action. It just depends on that season and where you are at that time. So you also have to have that cushion as well. And to know that if you don't make that profit in this month, where are you going to be next month? And like if you're going to make it next month, but also still have the funds in order to cover your necessary expenses at the same time. I also would say make sure that when you're starting, your overhead is low as well. So don't start off and go and get a building day one, a company vehicle and things like that. I think that unless a company vehicle is what it is that you use for your business, like if you're doing an Uber or something like that, or if it's a delivery service, then that's a whole nother ballpark. But if you can keep your overhead costs low so that the revenue that's coming in is actually being funneled back into the business and you're actually seeing a profit from it, because your ROI, return on investment, is very important as well. You're investing money, you do want to see something come out of it. And then just again, starting, you have to start somewhere, which rolls me into the third and final question that I'm going to answer today. How and where do I even start? I'm interested in being an entrepreneur. I'm interested in consulting, but I don't know where to start. How do I start? The answer to that question is so cliche, but it's simple. Somewhere, just start. There is no blueprint to how this works. Everyone's business will go completely different. You can have the blueprint, but if the product is not something that consumers want, it doesn't matter. If you have a vision for something, but you don't put it on paper and you don't, start somewhere with mapping it out and just doing something, it won't matter. You have to start. Just starting is exactly what it takes to even begin to be an entrepreneur or to start the process, as the question asks. So basically, you figure out what it is that you're interested in doing. You find a problem. You solve for that problem. Once you solve for that problem, then you shop it around. You find places that are interested in what it is that you're offering, and then you find a way to get into those doors and to, start to talk to those different people that you need to come face to face with to make things happen. But you do have to start. If it's in your brain, it doesn't matter until it's out and you're doing something with it. I will say starting with getting an LLC is definitely a first step for you. It's a very easy process. If you're interested in learning more about LLCs, I'll do a video about LLCs, but I do business coaching and business consulting. So you can reach out to me via email. You can reach out to me in my inbox on social media, and then we can start talking about the business coaching side of this. Or you can visit www.theedubox.com. That's THEEDUBOX.com. And send me an email from there as well, and just view what it is that's offered there. And we can just talk a little bit more about business coaching. But starting an LLC is definitely a good place to start as well. But it's a whole lot of things that go behind doors with that. However, just get started. And that's the best advice that I can give anyone. Know that it's something that you want to do, that you want to be an entrepreneur. Know that it's going to take hard work. It's going to take a lot of time, effort, and energy. However, it is very rewarding in the end to see your name, to have people ask you to come speak at events and things of that nature. So again, thank you for watching. I will be back again with another episode. I'll also be posting other lifestyle videos. So if you're enjoying it, of course, like it, subscribe, share, do whatever it is that will help someone else get this information out to them as well. Thank you. And a sidebar at the very end of this is I will be speaking at a Go Green event on January 25th here in Atlanta, Georgia. So check out my social media pages to learn more about that, and you will not be disappointed. See you later.